Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop. So in this video we're going to do the very official first studio walk around, or whatever you want to say, forge walk around, our little tour here. We're going to do a little bit of a tour. Anyways, as you can tell, I'm pretty excited. I still love this place. I love it every time I get to come out here. I get to do any work. I'm just excited to bring you guys along with this journey with me. With that being said, let's get a few things out of the way right away. I'll set my wrist down here so I can handle it. A couple of things that I want to take and get out off my chest right as we get the beginning here for you ladies and gentlemen that watch the channel most often. During this time, while I'm in this transition phase of this shop build out, there are going to be things that are probably going to be done that will not suit your local codes. And in your building department, in your personal situation, you need to do what's right by you. I can only do what's right by my family, myself, and my shop, okay? So everything that I talk about in this video and future build out videos are not necessarily applicable to your circumstances or where you live. So for instance, if you live in California, your laws are going to be so super strict, or New York State, that's another big one, or New York City. Your laws are going to be a lot more intensely monitored, governed, things like that, than say somebody who lives down in the Briars of Kentucky, okay? Or someone who lives in the upper peninsula of Michigan, or where I'm at, I'm really far north Michigan. There's going to be different kind of rules for different folks. There's national standards for electrical code, mechanical code, things like that, and where there's not, usually where there's a local code does not. If there's not a local code, you refer to the national code. If the national code says one thing and a local code says something different, the local code supersedes the national code. So that means you can't just get educated or educated on, say, fire safety and say, okay, well, that's it in California, that's it in New York, that's it in Briar, Kentucky. It's really not. You have to take and consult with your local codes and in what you're doing for that particular area. And there are different loopholes and things like that. I won't get into those. I'm not going to be part of your legal defense if you get into problems or situations. So that little disclaimer out of the way. The point of me showing you this shop is to show you the transition of process, how I can go from ground up and we can build this place into something that is a very professional space, a great place to be, and a great place to work. And that's the purpose of these videos. They are not to take and show you how to wire a light bulb. If you don't know how to wire a light bulb, you need to consult with somebody in your local area that knows how to wire in a light bulb the proper way. So I just wanted to get that out and get it real clear. I am not a licensed electrician. I'm not a licensed plumber. I'm not a licensed HVAC guy. Well, I used to be. In plumbing, yeah, I used to be. But I'm not licensed in any of these things. So it's been a long time since I've been in the trades, but I do know what I'm doing. And when I don't know what I'm doing, I know who to contact and call. So please be safe out there. Do what's right by you and your local codes and abide by all your rules. With all that, boy, that was a lot out off the chest. Just got to say it because I've had those comments start already, and it's already made me think about, like, maybe I want to rethink just showing everybody the ground up process from building this building. So if you enjoy the ground up process, the build from the ground up, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you think it's just a bad idea, I'm going to get trolled all the time, let me know down in the comment section down below, and then I just may not even do it, and you guys can just see the final result when I'm finally set up and done. It's going to take me several years to get there, so lucky you. Until then, this is what I've got. We're going to start with the first thing. This right here is my only 220 volt plug right now. I basically have created a long extension cord to get to my two biggest users of electricity, which are these right here, and the second biggest is my welder that I got under the table here. Unfortunately, all I have is a 60 amp main right here. I've only got a 60 amp that I can work with. So that means you can't be having a whole lot of other things running. I've already done some amp draws and checked to make sure that I was not exceeding that 80% threshold that you're not supposed to be doing. And I'm good on that. I'm good on the amperage as long as I'm not running too many things at once. The welders really don't pull that many amps. So, you know, they're good on a 60 amp circuit, 60 amp breaker, and the wire's rated for 60 amp. So that's a temp. That's a temporary situation. I'm not billed of cash. I'm not billed of money unless a bunch of people want to, you know, purchase power hammer plans like 1,000 or so. You know what I mean? At $3.99 each. Just saying, it's an option. We could see this place come out real nice. Real nice. Yeah. Okay, that's it for that. That's just getting creepy and that little salesman bit. It makes an impact. It really does. And I appreciate all of you all out there that have been supporting Jessica and I that way during this whole process. Thank you very much. We do greatly appreciate it. So, as I'm walking over here, this area right now is just kind of being dedicated to woodwork. I know it's kind of hard to see. It's basically just dedicated to woodwork, just out of osmosis. It just kind of happened that way because we don't have a really good place for that to be just yet. The main areas that I had to get established first and foremost was an area that I could take and do some polishing, grinding, drilling, you know, do some welding because I got some racking I got to make and some tool carts, things of that nature. So I just needed to establish a space that I could walk around, set stuff, lay out things on a layout table, and work on some projects. And I'll show you some projects I'm working on here real quick. Come around. So I've got some different viney bits. Those are all going to be YouTube tutorials at some point that'll be released if they haven't already been released by the time of the filming of this video. These are all going to be some YouTube projects that'll be coming up, making some different plant hangers, some sign brackets, preparing for Good of the Land Fest that I will be at here at the end of October, I believe it is. I'll be there at the end of October. You can go over and check that out. I'll put a link to the website where you can get tickets for that and figure all that out down in the description down below. So please check that out if you want to come see me. I will be all the way out in Texas. So I'll be on the western half of the United States for a 2-day event. Really ought to come check it out. Come see me. If you get a chance, I'll be doing some hands-on demonstrating and instructing. So that ought to be a good thing. Anyways, enough of the plugs, Roy. Gee whiz. Getting there. Here's a pipe threader. You guys seen that in several videos. Don't have an official place for that yet. Here's a really old welder. Don't have an official place for that yet. I'm fairly certain my tool cabinet's going to stay about right here. My drill press, pretty certain it's there. Same thing with the grinder. The buffer, no, it's going to go over in that corner over there into like basically a buffing room, and I'll have a different grinder that'll be in that room as well to take and grind the edges of copper and take burrs off stuff that I'm polishing and things. It'll be a little different grinder setup. But yeah, so that's basically it in this area. There's a lot of work to be done, a lot of packing boxes I've got to sort and pack and do different things with. So we've got a lot of that type work to do. Now I want to come in here, and we are really dark, so forgive me for a second. Let me crank up our ISO here to where you guys can actually see me. There we go. All right. So out here I've got my tractor sitting there. Really nice. I actually just picked that up because before I actually had my father was mowing our lawns, mowing both our lawns down in Ohio. So that worked great for this guy right here. But then I moved out, moved up here. He's going to be like, no, I'm not coming all the way to Michigan to mow your lawn. So had to go get me one of those. A pretty nice one, a little John Deere 318. Pretty good mower. Was able to pick it up for fairly cheap because it does have like a starter issue where you got to pry on the starter to get it running. But anyways, enough of that business. You're here for a workshop tour, not talking about my mechanical issues with my mowers. Anyways, got a pile of lumber here. I'm walking into the forging area. Of course, you guys have seen the loft that's up there. Great big space. We are 32 feet to the peak, which is an awesome space in here. It stays pretty cool actually even on a hot day in here, so that's pretty good. It'll be interesting come winter. I know those gaps look huge behind me, but that's the camera's viewing angle perspective. They're actually only about an inch gap Most of them are at the widest about 1 inch, and most of them are about a 1/2 inch gap. So the light pouring through there makes it look a lot bigger, the way the camera picks up on it for perspective. But those are things that I will have to take and fix. I fixed this end over here already, where I had to put new wood. Sadly enough, all this old barn lumber will have to come off and put new wood on, because there's a lot of them that are rotten off in certain areas, and I can't attach my batten strips I wanted to do. I wanted to do some board and batten siding, and I just can't do that on the old lumber, so I'll have to do new, like what you see back here. This is my forge area as it sits. I have a forge here. There is no exhaust hood as of yet, but as you can see, I have no problem with ventilation in this workshop, and so therefore I'm using coal. I'm burning coal, not coal, I'm burning coke, metallurgical grade coke, because there is not as many of the volatile fumes and things and smoke that's associated with it. I also am not using anything like charcoal or wood or anything in this fire pot to get it lit, because I am in an old barn that's surrounded by wood. So I don't want to have there any little pops of arcs and sparks to go places that really don't want them to go and end up burning the place down. I did have a video that was talking very much about my fire maintenance plan, and if you want to watch that video, I'll link it somewhere in the card of what I plan on doing. Main gist of that video is we're using common sense here, fellas. If this is hot, Roy's staying here. That's it. End of story. That's how you do it. If it gets hot, if I've got flame running, I'm staying here. The other bit is that I will have to take and make sure that I clean up any little tufts of hay that I see in here that's got stowed away, even way clear up there. I've got a lot of cleaning work in that way of things to do. Now, I'm not going to show all that in videos in the future. I've just decided on that. That's just boring content. And hell, you guys might think that this is boring content right now, and it kind of is. Just me yammering my mouth about my new workshop. But as you can see, this is a great big space. The power hammer behind me, it's going to eventually go over into this back corner, back in here. That's where I'm going to go. I've got to pour a concrete base for it, concrete footer base for it. So I do have that bit of work to do. But once I get all that accomplished, which should be soon, I should get all that accomplished here soon, the concrete poured, I'll bring you guys along for that, because that could be very interesting, just making a small form to mount the power hammer to for concrete. And I'm also figuring on pouring a pad for Olga, a nice concrete pad that's good 6-8 inches thick, and that way I can level the pad and bury it, and that way I can get my anvil truly level, because as of right now it's sitting on rubber floor mats, and those rubber floor mats are sinking into the dirt. So I need to provide a nice level base for the anvil to stay, and then the footing area will become brick at some point on tamped dirt, or tamped earth I should call it, which is a perfectly fine floor. To address some comments, what about when you get a brick floor, pieces falling off, little pieces falling off and getting stuck in the crevices, and and you're losing them? Usually when I have a piece falling to the floor, it's a waste piece that I don't want anyhow. So the odds of it, I'm missing it, not high. Number two, on the whole brickwork, if you do tidy brickwork, you're not going to lose that many pieces through the actual brickwork, because the brick ought to be sitting very tight, nestled together if you've done your job correctly. Everything should be fairly tight and snug. So that's how I'm going to do the shop floors and brickwork. There's a big plan. I want to keep it historical and beautiful looking. Now, if I did like a cobblestone approach, there would be a higher risk to having things just kind of like sticking down and hiding in little crevices. But since I'm going to be doing a brickwork floor, the brickwork will be very tightly fitted, or should be, if I'm doing my job right. I'm not going to get in a rush. It's going to take a lot of time and skids of brick to do this whole area. Last thing I'll address real quick, people were asking thoughts. I've had a lot of stuff about like winter. What are you gonna do? You're gonna freeze during the winter. I froze during the winter in Ohio. I work 6 days a week, whether it's 180 degrees outside or it's negative 180 outside, I'm going to be in my workshop working. Now that sounds like an overstatement, but it's true. I just do. I make my living at this, so this isn't just a hobby for me. So I am always working at some point in time, whether it's hot or cold. It just depends on whether I have orders on the go or if I've got tutorials to make for YouTube or you name it, I'm going to be working. So I'm very used to cold. In fact, I love cold weather. I'm actually very cold hardy. So that is the least of my concerns. In fact, Ohio, that was worse for me. Ohio was a lot worse for me because it could be 140 in the shop with, 90% humidity, or that's what the heat index would be in the shop, and it would just kill me. I'd just go inside absolutely drained and whooped. But in cold weather, man, I thrive. Man, I just can't wait to get going over the day. I love snow. That's not a problem. We're going to have high snow up here. I'm going to love every minute of that. I'm a very winter-oriented person. So thank you for all the concern. I will freeze. If I am going to freeze too much, I can either stay inside and not get frostbite that day, or I can hover a little closer to the hover a little closer over the forge, so not a big issue. Eventually, maybe one day, there might be some unit heaters, put some resonators up in here to take and keep the shop a little bit more acclimatized. But as far as insulating this place, that is probably never going to happen. And the reason for that being is I want to keep as much of the aesthetic of the barn as I can. That's kind of like the whole purpose of this. Otherwise, you just knock an old structure like this flat, and it's actually cheaper to just build an all-steel building. It just is anymore. It's way cheaper. The resources are way cheaper to just build an all-steel building. And in fact, the money I could get for just the lumber in this place by deconstructing it would pay, and then some, for an all-new construction, all-steel building. But I really didn't want that. I've worked a long time to get a place that has this much beautiful cinematic capabilities. You can see they already put steel there to type in, steel in an old door. I'm going to put that door back. I like wood. I'm going to take all that steel off the building, and I'm going to restore this building to the old wooden lumber, the lumber type look, because I just like that. So anyways, I hope that kind of, catches everybody up on where we're at. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys have been enjoying some of my new tutorials that have been coming out. Continue to give us feedback on that. Let us know down in the comment section. If you haven't watched any of the videos, please go and look through and see if you guys can find some videos that you like or don't like or whatever, and just let us know how that content's faring for you and what you think. I'm going to get off here. I'm going to get back to work. Cleaning this place and doing those sort of things. I just want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this content and you want to support more of it, and you want to support Jessica and I and what we're doing here, share this around with your friends, or if you want to take and do something financially for us, a great way of you doing that is just checking out our website over at blacksmithpdfs.com and consider purchasing a power hammer plan or getting a digital download. Even if it's one of the free templates or things like that, it's just foot traffic to our shop, and Google likes that, and so they help show us to more people. So if you get a chance, stop on by and support us in that way. So that's it for today. God bless each and every last one of you, and as always, we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.